Channing Tatum dishes on Doomsday, Star Wars Starfighter fills out its cast, and Marvel Zombies unveils its official trailer, dripping in blood. All that and more coming up right after this. Welcome to Multiverse News, your source for information about all your favorite fictional universes. My name's Matthew Carroll, and with me on the panel today, we have Jay Sisson. What's happening, Jay Sisson?
Hey, not too much. Exciting week, coming off a 3-day weekend. You know, NFL football starts for all you American sports fans this week, so that's an exciting time. And, yeah, I'm doing a fantasy football draft right now while we're doing this podcast on the side. So this is multitask news tonight.
Multitask news.
Ooh.
Very nice, very nice. I would scold you, but you had such a good pun waiting. And Haley Hobbs, what's happening?
Oh, for Twilight fans, I was in Hoa 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 Land last week, and I just thought of the network the whole time.
What is Hoa 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 Land?
It's the sound the music makes when ha ha ha. It's the sound. People who know will know. I don't need to explain myself to you two.
No, you're good. You do you.
I don't want to do the singing.
You did great. It sounded great. I don't know if it was
I'll
what it's supposed
find
to
one
sound
and
like.
send it to you later.
All right, I love it.
I was in Forks.
Is it as sort of like hazy there as it is in the movies?
It is. It actually is.
Yeah.
It is very accurately depicted.
Oh, is that the place from that movie?
From Twilight, like I said at the start. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I heard you say something about Twilight, but then you said Hoa 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 Land, and I didn't know what that was. So I didn't know what it was.
I will send you a reel.
He's like, who stars in Ho 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 Land?
The funniest part is it's the music. It's the background music that they play in Twilight.
Okay, gotcha.
And then the funniest part is that there's a rainforest in Olympic National Park called the Ho Rainforest, which is HOH.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely deliberate. Well, we are missing our buddy Jay Scotty tonight. I got to go just visit with him and Ashley yesterday and the day before over at DragonCon, and we partied hard. And Jay Scotty is down. Jay Scotty is down with the con crud. Man down. We miss Jay Scotty, and we wish he could be here, but we will keep the fire burning for him tonight.
Yeah, if Jay Scotty's missing an episode of Multiverse News, you know it's serious. Like he really needs.
That's right.
You know, he's not feeling well because he loves being here.
That's right.
Too true.
Well, let's get moving on with the proceedings. We'd like to bring you guys a 5-star review in just gratitude for all these 5-star reviews. Sean Holt says, I've listened since the first episode, and it's only gotten better and better. Definitely give it a listen. Thank you, Sean. That means a lot.
An OG.
Yeah, an OG, and the idea of it getting better and better. I hope that's true. That feels very nice if it's true.
They wouldn't lie to us.
Why would they? It's a 5-star review.
They have nothing to lose.
They've already given us 5 stars. They can be honest. All right, well, let's dive into our first story this week. While speaking with Variety for a cover story, Gambit actor Channing Tatum revealed that he will be toning down the intentionally unintelligible Cajun accent he used for Deadpool and Wolverine for Avengers Doomsday, as the Russo brothers want to keep the drama and avoid going full Deadpool with the character. The actor also confirmed he suffered an onset injury that required pain medication and will need 6 months of physical therapy as production on the film continues. Tatum's involvement in Doomsday perhaps came as unexpected to some, but what about this shuffle to a more serious tone and accent for the character?
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense because I would imagine that the Russo's vibe that they're going for with Avengers Doomsday is probably not the vibe that Ryan Reynolds was going for and Sean Levy were going for in Deadpool and Wolverine. And you know, the Channing Tatum thing was kind of a bit from the beginning, I think, probably in that movie. And then the accent was just doubling down on the bit and kind of using his character for a lot of the comic relief that happened when he was on screen. So I would imagine that the Russos don't necessarily want that to be a core part of the character, but it does make me wonder about if there's a continuity issue here at all. Are we talking about the same Gambit, or are we talking about a different Gambit? And I think that's going to be a question that we're going to have for a little bit. And I don't know if we'll get an answer to that anytime soon, really. Production for this movie is locked down tight, because when this came out, this was the first time anyone heard about this injury. If you're doing 6 months of recovery, like, he sustained a serious injury doing stunts. I mean, he might have fractured something. I mean, we're talking like that's serious recovery time for an injury. And he talked about how on set he had to. They had to change a lot of the things, because he normally does a lot of his own stunts. So they had to change a lot of that. A lot of stuntmen had to take over his role, basically. And then they had to kind of work it in with like shots of his face to make it seamless so he could still be in the movie, but, couldn't further re-injure himself even more. So it must have been pretty serious with how it played out. And maybe we'll get more information on that later about what happened with that. But I think just kind of talking about and thinking about the character, I mean, I wonder what that's going to look like, because I think about him from Deadpool and Wolverine in a specific way, and I think about that character in a very specific way, and I kind of wonder if I'll carry that over with me to him doing this role again without the funny accent. It's just kind of like I got used to him in a certain way, and it kind of, to me, it's taking away a part of what made the character pop a little bit to me, and kind of what made the character like endearing a little bit and funny, and at least, and I think memorable and able to stick. But at the end of the day, I think I understand where the Russos are coming from. I hope it's just not jarring. Like, I hope it's just not a sudden sort of like, he just sounds different now and just deal with it kind of thing, because I don't know how much I'll appreciate that.
You either hated or loved his accent in Deadpool and Wolverine, and you're probably going to either hate or love it in Doomsday.
Yeah.
But I think that the utter like backlash that came from Deadpool and Wolverine about it, this is almost like a soft landing of them going, we're changing it. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. You know what I mean? They're like, Channing, you can say this. This is okay. We won't snipe you down for this one if you just want to go tell the people that we're going to make your accent a little less cartoonish. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of feelings about this, because this movie is so wrapped up secretly that we don't know what it's going to be. Like, I don't understand still what the plot of Doomsday with 40,000 characters is supposed to be when we're bringing in the Fox characters and stuff like that. If it's just a long road to the incursions, then like, okay, I can get there. But it's just like, how are we bringing all of these characters together? And we haven't gotten that second announcement. We never did. So we know there's more, because RDJ said that there's more. And it's just kind of like, okay, this is a nice little tidbit to hear from Channing. Sorry you got hurt real bad. Like, did you like pull your ACL or something? Dang. But yeah, it just every little bit I see, and we've gotten these little rumors about there's all this friction on the set, which you take with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of like, where are we going with this? I think that they need to do something. I know they did the thing with Paul Rudd, and they kind of like let him run around for, was it D23? They did a video thing with him.
It was like a fan event. It's not D23 like the one, but it was like this past weekend.
We need a little bit of direction, I think, as fans. Like, what are you doing with this film? I kind of need to know by now. People still think they don't know. I disagree with that statement, but I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, I think they know.
Of course they know.
I don't want to complain about not knowing anything right now, because I'm always complaining about knowing too much. So I don't want to be that guy. Like, let them keep me in the dark as long as they want to. Let them lie to me. Like, all of that stuff I'm down for. I actually wonder if him coming out with this little bit of information is trying to soothe the fears, because of all those chairs. I remember my take was when we saw those chairs was the only one I was like, I'm not excited for Channing Tatum. Like, I don't think that's a good call. I think he was a funny joke in Deadpool and Wolverine, but they made him such a joke, it's going to be hard to take him seriously. And so I think this is them trying to like assuage those fears. I'm not the only person I've heard say that. So I think there's people. Some people are going to be like, yeah, I'm not excited for this. So they need to assure you it's not going to be the same thing. And it could be a different variant. I mean, that variant technically didn't remember his life. and existed only in the void as far as we know. Like that was kind of the joke. So yeah, like we just don't. I think this variant is very likely just a different variant. But weirdly, in the Fox universe, you had that Tyler Hoechlin. Is that how you say his name? Was the Gambit only for a scene, I think, but in Origins Wolverine, he's in that. So if they're using him as the Fox variant, that's not right. But I guess it could be that, the whole there's a double casting already with the first class versus the new class and all that stuff too. So whatever. I guess it could be first class Gambit somehow. I don't know.
I think it was Alan Cumming that came out and said that he shot all of these Nightcrawler scenes, and a bunch of the ones that he shot, he didn't even know who he was acting with. So they had him standing and giving lines and acting like he was speaking to someone, but they wouldn't even tell him who he was interacting with. Like they're going to stick that character in later.
Wow.
After they he's literally just acting in a room by himself. They're filming him, and then they're going to put that up against him, somebody else acting in a room by themselves and those characters interacting. So we're talking about like next levels of security with this thing. I mean, we kind of know how Marvel sets are, but this one is different. This one is like locked down to a different level.
Good. I love that it's locked down to a great level. I don't love the idea of actors not interacting on the set. Like that's
It is weird. It is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone can do it, I think the Russos have probably the most experience with doing that of anyone. And they've done it well in the past. And like depending on what kind of scene you're shooting, it can work. But like those more kind of down to earth scenes where characters are bouncing off each other and having a conversation, I feel like they need some of that actual interaction and the sort of energy in the room to feel similar. So yeah, it is just weird that he doesn't even know who he's acting against. Like he doesn't even know.
Yeah,
who he's
they didn't
talking
even
to.
tell him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll retract my earlier statement, but I will say when they drop the trailer for this thing, it better be a banger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or just like nothing. Like Doom.
Just drop the movie.
I don't think they
Doom
can.
is coming.
Like we're past. Like the Marvel hype is not what it used to be. They have to just be like, please see this movie. Like as weird as that sounds, like
but that's what they've been doing.
We paid Robert Downey Jr. $1 billion. Like please.
That's the tagline for the movie is Avengers Doomsday. Please watch it. Oh Lord. All right, well, let's dive into the next story. Star Wars Starfighter has officially locked in its ensemble cast with Amy Adams, Aaron Pierre, Matt Smith, who will be playing a villain according to sources at Deadline, Mia Goth, and newcomer Flynn Gray among the latest to board the space opera alongside Ryan Gosling in the lead. Additionally, a black and white first look image depicting Gosling and Gray set against a Tatooine-esque land speeder was officially released. The level of talent and care behind the production seems high. Will the force be with Sean Levy as he pilots the May 2027 release?
Well, we certainly hope so. There were a lot of these actors that they additionally announced I didn't know. Aaron Pierre, of course, we know is going to be in the Lanterns series for DCU, so we're excited about that. And then the one that throws me is Amy Adams. I'm not going to lie. I have a little bit of a hard time seeing Amy in the Star Wars universe. Not that I dislike her or anything, but she's a very particular actress. And so when I picture Star Wars, I'm like, where's Amy Adams at? Now, that being said, we don't know what this movie is about. I was speculating yesterday on a podcast with somebody else that it could be about just the state of the galaxy 5 years after Rise of the Skywalker. So who's in charge at that point? Like, what does the government look like? Are we following a rogue person? Are we following somebody who's helping get force-sensitive children to raise Jedi Academy? Like, again, we know nothing about this movie. And so when I think about Amy Adams in particular, I'm like, what are you doing there? I need to know what you're doing there so I can understand why she was picked. It's just interesting. It's a very interesting choice, but I'm excited for it. I thought the black and white still was really cool looking. Ryan Gosling fits in this world really well. It almost had a Blade Runner-esque feel to it, that
for
picture.
sure.
So yeah, super excited.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I have the same feelings about Ryan Gosling that you, Amy Adams. I'm excited to see what he does with a Star Wars, but like, I don't see him as fitting into the previous sort of canon of Star Wars. And I think that's what this movie might be trying to do. And maybe similarly, the most similarly I feel to that is like what they did with Solo, which I know was not beloved, but I liked Solo.
I love Solo.
Awesome. One of the things I like about it is it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie. Like, it's in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't feel so like, I don't know, there's something about the melodrama that is lacking, and it's just a little more grounded human beings interacting a little bit in that movie. And there are definitely problems, but like I like it. And I think that this movie feels like it's shaping up to be something sort of similar to that, where it's trying to blaze its own trail, be in the Star Wars universe, but not try for the tone of Star Wars. And I think that's something that could really take Star Wars in a new direction and give it some new life, maybe.
Yeah, that's my question too. I think you're going to have to deal a little bit with the surrounding world, just because if it is, we know it's taking place after Rise of Skywalker. They've said that. And so there's questions here about who's fighting who, what type of conflict is going on in the galaxy. I mean, I kind of think personally, and this is not a hot take that other people don't share, I mean, the Rise of Skywalker, in my opinion, really fumbled the bag in terms of like setting up the future of the thing and like setting up what the, you know, like bringing back the Empire in another form, basically, and then deciding at the last second that Palpatine was behind it the whole time, and then trying to sort of like retcon all that stuff together. It just got really messy. And so now we're kind of left with this thing that's just kind of sitting in all these various pieces, and it's like, how do we bring in the next thing? We already know that Simon Kinberg is writing another trilogy, and the intention of that trilogy is to carry the story forward and function as another generation of films that continue the saga. Like, they don't branch off into a whole nother world, but we're talking like a few years after the Rise of Skywalker. And, you know, there's been mixed reports on if Daisy Ridley's involved in that and what that looks like, and if she's getting her own movie or not. So I wonder, you know, how much, when you're talking Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling, I think they have the pull to do what they want here. But I got to wonder what type of world building, if any, you know, we see here. I mean, I think of something like Skeleton Crew, which, you know, it existed, and I think I would call Skeleton Crew as existing in its own corner, but it still did a lot of background work. It was still taking place in a world it had an important role really in the general narrative of the Star Wars universe. And same with The Mandalorian. Like, The Mandalorian started off and we just kind of thought, all right, this is going to just be a show about a bounty hunter, whatever. It's just going to be set in between movies. No big deal. And then all of a sudden we're basically setting up like the whole cloning storyline, and we're setting up like, you know, we're handing the ball off to Ahsoka, and Luke is showing up, and, you know, all of a sudden it's super important to the Star Wars universe and like the integrity of the story. So again, it's like zooming out on this and kind of wondering where we're going with it. It is interesting, and I hope to get some more clarity on that, you know, as we start to move. Like, what, if any, connection is this thing going to have to the wider universe?
Yeah. All right, one question. Will there be a crawl? What do you think?
Ooh.
I don't think so. I think they kind of save those for the Skywalker ones.
I think not as well.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling too.
I think that's the right move.
Yeah, I think it'll be another one that sort of the exposition of the thing gives us the context for what's going on in the galaxy, and we don't have to see that crawl. Although I feel like a lot of people will want a crawl, given the fact that we're seeing a new age in the Star Wars universe. They'll just want the information.
It being
want
a
the
crawl
background
too. I mean, you know, you can. In a way, Sean Levy's been given a gift. Like, yes, you're set outside of a certain time frame, but nothing else has been done beyond that. So he can, like you said, Jay, he can shape things for the future, even of Star Wars movies, just by making this standalone film that he's making. So that is an interesting position to be in as a director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited for how the new Palpatine clones will be set up.
Somehow.
Guess who's behind
Palpatine
it?
returned
It's
again.
me again. Gotcha. And I'm your grandfather. It's like, get out of here, please, with this.
Post credits reveals that Ryan Gosling is like a reborn Palpatine. Yes.
One of my I'm not going to sit here and make this a Rise of Skywalker rant, but I will say that
it's a light news week. Go for it.
One thing that I cannot stand that when movies do is when they do no groundwork for a big reveal, and then they just think that they can have the big reveal with none of the groundwork, and that we're supposed to be like, oh my gosh, this was the craziest reveal ever because you said name plus name or whatever. It's like, no, like
exactly.
Get out of my face. Like you did not earn this. I think it's left a lot of bad, like I know for me, like the Rise of Skywalker left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest, with Star Wars, and I love Star Wars and always have, and always will, no matter what I think at the end of the day. But still, it's got me kind of in this place of like, man, like I think they do need to earn a little bit of trust back at the theater. I mean, those movies were just breaking the $1 billion barrier, and it was just kind of like, no problem whatsoever for that to happen. And then now you've got the Mandalorian and Grogu coming out, and we know that it has a big following, but that's the first Star Wars movie since Rise of Skywalker. And so it's a really interesting position that it's in, of like, you got to bring the audience back. Like, you got to start recruiting the Star Wars people back to the theater. And I think that that has been a shrinking audience. A lot of those people are Disney Plus audience now. And I'm curious to see, have we maintained that Star Wars theater presence? I don't know if we have or not. But I think like we'll get a good read on it when the Mandalorian Grogu happens, and this movie is going to be a good measuring stick for that too. Like, can we start to bring those people, because we know that base is huge. Like, people love seeing Star Wars in the theater, but like, can we recapture that magic? Can we kind of introduce to a new age of movies, like a new age of fans? A lot of them have been brought up on Disney Plus, like Rise of Skywalker was years ago. So it's a really interesting position for a franchise. And I think like, and I like what they're doing. I mean, I love the groundwork they've laid on Disney Plus, but the theater experience, I mean, I think it's kind of up in the air right now for Star Wars.
I think this is the right direction though.
Oh yeah, I agree.
New time period, new characters. Like, you can play with the world, but not rely on old things, because that's the thing. All of these universes, both Marvel, Star Wars, DC, everything, they need to be creating new characters that are going to sustain them for the next 15 years, that are going to sustain our interest for the next 15 years. We don't need to constantly revisit the same well of characters and the same well of scenarios. We need to be like seeing new things to push us forward as fans, because it's just, you're going to burn out all your old audience, and the new audience is like, I got to go do homework to find out where these characters came from. Like, I just want to watch a kick-ass movie in the stars, and like, and I could totally see this movie being just like a new corner of the universe. They could make 3 or 4 Starfighter movies, and it just be its own sort of thing, without having to be a part of any other saga,
Well, and think about what Rogue One did. I mean, that movie was huge, and the word of mouth was so strong on Rogue One that people packed the theater to see it, and then it spun off Andor. Like, it just because it was such a successful thing, and they empowered the creator to make it. So, these things have power to do things like that. It's just, can we nail it on the intro? Like, when we introduce these characters, are people going to feel it?
Yeah, I want to touch on what you said about a reveal. Reveals are so tricky. And I love a good reveal. I love a good reveal so much. And the key thing to reveal is to make it feel like you should have known, but it never got to your brain. You know what I mean? Like, everything was laid out perfectly. All of the pieces are there, and you just never got there. And then the story gets there before you can, and you're like, oh, I should have known, but I didn't. And that's like the best feeling in the world. Or you get to it right before, or there's something so satisfying about being surprised by something you shouldn't have been surprised by. And stuff like that Palpatine reveal is the worst execution on one end of that. There's the other thing where you just forecast everything too much, and you don't, there's no surprise to it. The Red Hulk being one of those that we, knew it from the marketing, so it didn't feel earned in the movie, or didn't feel surprising at all in the movie. And then the movie's structured in a way that surprise feels important. So it's like, what were you doing?
I think that what Star Wars has going for it in the movie theater versus Marvel, for example, is it's so generational. Like, you're going to go and you're going to take your niece or nephew or kid or even grandchild with you because you love this thing. I think Marvel has some of that now, but of course it didn't have it, it didn't start in the 70s like Star Wars did. So you don't have the same kind of generational love for it yet. And Mandalorian and Grogu will be a litmus test, but also not, because it is a spinoff from the show. So it's like, it'll probably do really well because Star Wars fans are going to Star Wars fan. But then what will Starfighter do? Because that's a very different direction, and that being standalone and being truly standalone. Rogue One isn't technically standalone. Solo's not standalone. Those are all worked into the thread of the time frame. How is that going to do? That's going to be the real, true test of, will people come see Star Wars movies still? Which I'm excited to see.
I really wonder about Mandalorian Grogu, honestly.
I think people will go.
I think you're right.
My fear, though, here's my fear of it, is that, because I love The Mandalorian, and I can speak from my own viewpoint of that. I have a son who's 7 now, but whenever Rise of Skywalker came out, he was 1, so he did not see that in the theater. But he has since, being 7 and will be 8 by the time Mandalorian and Grogu comes out, he's watched The Mandalorian, and he's all in, and I know he'll want to see that movie. So that's a good example of what you're talking about, of like, a lot of people have gotten into this stuff over the last few years. But then at the same time, what my fear is that they will try to shoehorn it too much to everything else. Like, it's like, okay, The Mandalorian and Grogu, you watch that show, this is it on the big screen. But then they're bringing in, like, Admiral Thrawn, and they're bringing in like they're bringing in all the other, here's the Night Witch sisters or whatever, and here's the all of the Rebels characters, and you have to know who they are. Like, that does worry me a little bit, just because it's that problem of, like, you have your hardcore Star Wars fans, like, they're all in on that's exciting to them, but the general audience is going to be like, who are all these people? Like, we're right. Assembling the Avengers, but I only know the Mandalorian, I only know Grogu, so I think there's a tightrope there to walk. I'm not saying they can't do it. It's just, I think they have to be careful about, what are we using this movie for? Like, is it its own standalone story about these characters, or are we using it because we want to, like, set up an event or something that people may or may not go for?
Yeah, I just wonder, it's just like any of the other Disney Plus content that turned movie, particularly the Marvel stuff, did not do as well. The stuff that they really relied on Disney Plus characters to bring them to the big screen, it just didn't do as well. And I think there's something about homework there where there's a lot of people there's a ton of people who watched Mandalorian, but a lot of general audiences probably didn't. Like, lots of Star Wars fan watched it over and over, but I wonder how much the general audiences saw it, and how much of, like, the number of butts you have to get in seats to see, like, the people who don't care about Star Wars, who are just going to see a movie on the weekend, will they see that as, like, an extension of the show and not go? And then also, you've got the people who are so used to getting Mandalorian Grogu, we get that at home, just like we talk about all the time. If they're going to put it out in 2 months on Disney Plus, do I go to the theater to see this? When I'm so used to this is a Disney Plus show, why would they're just putting this in theaters? I can totally see a less, less engaged fan, even if they are a big Star Wars fan, being like, well, Mandalorian Grogu, that's a show. Like, it's not even combining 2 shows. It's just more of the show I've been watching. Why are they putting it in theaters and making me pay for it? I pay for Disney Plus at home. So I just think there's some complication with it being huge, but it is Baby Yoda. So, like,
I think you're right. There's going to be that population of people, but I think the show is more in the zeitgeist than we even probably think, just because it was the first, big thing on Disney Plus. The difference with Marvel, what they've done with Mando at least, is, like, we've set stuff up and we've followed through. Marvel didn't do that. They set stuff up and they haven't followed through, and that's what really made people mad.
Well, when they did follow through, though, it, like, with Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau coming into the Marvels, that's their only real bomb, like at 200 million, Yeah. It's the only one that didn't even hit the normal kind of 400 to 500 million that they hit. And then the same thing with, I don't know the numbers on Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, but I know a lot of people felt it jarred by the fact that they didn't watch WandaVision. They went to see Doctor Strange and didn't know what was going on,
I think, too, though, Mando and Grogu came out in 2019. This is 6 years later, 7 years later. if you haven't seen it yet, they're giving you time. Like, if you want to be that invested. I had a thought, because I watched Thunderbolts yesterday. I was like, what if they stop releasing these so early on streaming? What if they start waiting, like, a year or so, instead of whatever it is, 3 to 4 months?
Yeah. We're in this very strange predicament for these studios.
Because it's shot to the top of the charts on streaming.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want to do.
Yeah.
But if you force them to wait longer, will they go see it in theaters?
Yeah. I think that would help, but that's just not the trend that we're seeing.
No.
And what we've seen, what was the movie recently? Superman. Like, they put it out super fast on streaming. And the sort of one of the prevailing theories was just they've just been doing all this marketing for Superman. All the marketing is still happening at, like, Dairy Queen is still covered in Superman, like, right now. So if they just capitalize on that and put it in streaming now, people are like, oh my gosh, I can buy this right now. Or it's not on streaming, it was on VOD or whatever. And, I mean, I bought it because I was just like, well, yeah, I'd like to watch it a few times between now and when it's on streaming. And I think it worked on me, putting it on VOD, but to Disney Plus, it's a different thing though, because it's free to you at that point. You're not going to pay any more money.
It's a weird equation.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, moving on. Marvel Animation has officially unleashed the undead with the first trailer for Marvel Zombies. The TVMA-rated 4-episode series hitting Disney Plus on September 24th continued from the What If episode that asked, what if zombies? This adult animated series follows desperate survivors as they traverse a dystopian landscape fighting superpowered zombies to save what's left of their world. The trailer showcases tons of undead violence and features the debut of Blade Knight, a Moon Knight and Blade variant who slices up zombie Avengers in spectacular fashion with an impressive ensemble cast including Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Rudd, Florence Pugh, and David Harbour, all reprising their MCU roles as voice actors. The question remains, is our appetite for Marvel Zombies as strong as theirs is for brains?
I mean, it definitely leans into the TVMA. The trailer's pretty violent for an animated show, so they were not lying about that. There was a particularly interesting scene of Spider-Man ripping off, 20 zombie heads with webs, which was kind of fun. So,
Cool.
so there's some cool shots. I thought a lot of the color, maybe this is just me being old guy, but I thought a lot of the color was like really dark in the trailer. It was like hard to see almost. Like I was kind of like, can we do a little less with the shadows in this thing a little bit? I mean, I know it's zombies, but like I can't see anything in it. But I do wonder, what we're going with here. I think if it's leaning more into just that, it's just Marvel and it's just zombies and it's just gore, like I'm probably not that interested in it, to be honest, because it's just kind of like we've seen that a million times with a lot of zombie stuff. But if it's going to lean into other kind of parts of what like make that type of story interesting, like zombie stories are interesting when they have like the survival horror, like the moral dilemma, that type of stuff. And if you're giving me that, I'm a lot more interested. Like I think like that's a cool through line that I could really follow. But again, if it's just like we put Moon Knight and Blade together and made Blade Knight, so look, it's cool, right? Like, don't you think it's cool? It's like I'm not just like, that's not, I don't know. It doesn't get me going that much, to be honest with you.
I feel like What If vacillates between those two things. Like, there are episodes of What If that are really great character studies, and like, what if this character made a different decision, what their life would be like, or what would, if they lived in this time, what their life would be like. Those sorts of things are interesting questions. And then sometimes it's just like, look, we smashed these things together.
Yeah, we got all the toys out of the toy box, so we stuck them together, or whatever. Like, So I guess all things considered, I think it was a good trailer. I think if you're interested in Marvel Zombies, you probably walked away being like, this is cool and I'm excited for it because it did what it said it was going to do. But I definitely have questions that I feel like weren't answered, which are, what are we going for? Is there a story? Is there an overarching story? And it is an interesting one? Or is it just, we're going to splatter everything and that's the pull, So, and that remains to be seen. But I think that's my biggest question still.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I thought it was very fun. Really, Marvel is leaning into their current sweetheart, which is Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova. Like, they're putting her front in everything they can right now, which is smart. People love her. People love Yelena. So I liked seeing her right away. I love that the font they're using, that's lifted right out of the comics. Like, that's what the comics title looks like, and that's a very cool homage to that. They are just some really wild and goofy comics when they're zombies. It's just, those do tend to be just like, brains, the one where they're like eating T'Challa. It's like really gross. But I don't know. I'm not a big zombie person in general. I think they're dumb. But you slap it with my favorite cinematic universe, and it's kind of a good time. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a laugh. Let's go.
Yeah. I reflect what both of you guys are saying. I think it looks fun, and I'm excited for all the returning characters. I do find it interesting how they're focused on these characters, like like you said, Yelena, Red Guardian, like these characters that are sort of like what is happening now in the MCU. I think that's smart. I think after the 2 seasons of What If, I'm a little tired of them just constantly revisiting the same Avengers to show us a different variant of the same characters. I think it'll be cool to see, let those be the zombie bad guys and then give us some life with these new characters. And yeah, Moon Knight / Blade looks awesome. And I also thought it was interesting. It looks to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it looks to me like the model might be based on Mahershala Ali, which I find interesting because I'm wondering, like, they announced the show a long time ago, and I'm wondering if they've been working on it a long time, and like at the time they started working on this, they thought Blade would either be out or be at a different place in its production than it has made it. So maybe not, but it looked to me like they were at least, like, the head shape and everything to me looks very Mahershala Ali. I love all the powers and stuff. And there's one shot. There's a girl with like patches on her coat that I was thinking was America Chavez. I'm not 100% though. I'm not 100%, but at one point it shows that same character, and I thought it was America Chavez in another shot, but in this shot she's like using magic, which like that's where they left her in Kamertage, So I'm wondering if like now she's progressed in her training some. That's kind of a cool little thing. And the Shang-Chi, I'm always saying they need more Shang-Chi. I wish it was a movie. But at least we're getting Shang-Chi in something.
Doesn't see Hulu.
Yeah. And it's just cool to hear all the voice actors coming back and doing fun stuff. So yeah, I'm in. Oh, and the first shot of the trailer is so Walking Dead. Like just the way they shot it with the arrow coming in from the side and somebody coming and picking up the arrow. It just looks so much like something out of Walking Dead. Which I'd like to see them sort of play with the different. I feel like the What If Zombies episode kind of played with an old school idea of like, a zombie master and all that stuff that they kind of did with Wanda and Vision, and sort of like an evil scientist doing a thing. Like that was fun for me because that is a kind of zombie movie that there is, but there's a lot of different kind of vibes in the zombie world. Like you said, there's the survival horror thing, but there's also, different groups of humans having to battle it out because they can't agree on how to handle the situation, So, of course, in the zombie world, it kind of becomes often the zombies become sort of background characters because zombies are easy to kill. But when you give them superpowers, I don't know if you'll ever get past them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you could just, at some point in Walking Dead, the zombies are just like an ocean of things you have to sort of know is there, but you don't have to face every day. And then it becomes about interpersonal interactions. But like in this world with them having superpowers, it's probably not ever gonna get to that point. So never mind. That's probably dumb. Right after our break coming up, we got the lightning round. We got Mortal Kombat 2 gets a major delay. Ice Age 6 gets a title. Warwick Davis returns to Hogwarts, and much more. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Multiverse News. So we have a Patreon. You guys should check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/multiverse newscast. It's just like $1 a week. We work so hard to bring you this show. We really do. We toil, and we love to bring it to you. We toil it with love and make this thing every week. And bring you all the news and try to make it fun and lighthearted, but get you lots of information. And if you like what we do, you should go to patreon.com/multiverse newscast and join up. $4 a month. It's super inexpensive, and you get access to the live feeds after they've gone off of YouTube. You get ad-free access to the episodes and lots of other things. Discounts off our merch, things like that. So check out Multiverse News on Patreon. Yeah. That's the ticket. All right. We had a Spotify poll this week. This was really my curiosity more than anything. We talked about this movie in the lightning round, and I was really, really curious. Have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters? And 24% of you have seen it. 71% have not. And 4.8% said no, but my kid has. And I was just really curious about our audience, and because once I took my niece to see K-pop Demon Hunters, I was so like, man, the kids are very excited about this. What is this thing? And so I was just really curious about it.
Those numbers seem accurate.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, Spotify gives us a lot of data on who our audience is, like who listens to Multiverse News, and I can just say with confidence that this makes complete sense.
Nice. At Dragon Con, because my niece was so into this, I was looking for a K-pop Demon Hunters item, like just some sort of sticker or button, and I didn't see anything anywhere. And everywhere I went, it was just no. And I was like, it's kind of new. Maybe things just aren't there. Then I finally spotted a couple of things, and I was like, is this the only K-pop Demon Hunters thing you have? Because it'd be like one character, and I know it's not necessarily the character she loves or whatever. And I was like, do you have any other? They're like, everything sold out immediately. Every K-pop Demon Hunter thing. So I went the last day to go through the little merch vendor thing at Dragon Con, and every booth that I found any K-pop Demon Hunter thing, they were like, that is the only item I have left. Everything else sold out. And I was like, okay. So a combination of it being so recent and people just snatching up everything that was there. So I thought that was interesting.
The 24% of people at Dragon Con that wanted it got their stuff.
That's right. Or like me, we're just looking for something for their kid, which I think is a lot of people our age. I did watch 30 minutes of it. It's not bad.
Okay, I was like, we need a Matthew Carroll breakdown.
Yeah, I'll have to do a full like a new podcast. It's just about K-pop Demon Hunters. It's got a very Buffy vibe to it. It's like once in a generation, like musicians rise to fight off a demon thing. And that was it. So it also, I guess, has like a Sinners thing to it too, where like, their music and kind of Agatha too, like that music episode. Sort of like music is suppressing the demons, and they have to like try to produce music that suppresses the demons. It's pretty fun. But the once in a generation, like a girl will rise to fight the demons, was very Buffy to me. All right, moving into the lightning round. This is where I'm going to read a story. Once I do, we're going to be able to shout out our names to claim that story. And once per lightning round, we will get a rebuttal. Here we go. Disney Animation Studios' next original film will be titled Hexed. The official logline reads, Disney's Hexed is an all-new original film that follows an awkward teenage boy and his type A mom who discover that what makes him unusual might just be magical powers that will turn their lives and their secret world of magic upside down.
Haley, that's a really long-winded way of saying, here's a coming-of-age story, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Your type A mom. I'm sorry, that's so bizarrely specific. I don't like it. There's something about it that I'm like, why?
It's definitely like a trope of the type A mom. Like that's
which is usually just like a mom.
Right. A mom that has to somehow wrangle children. Like, yeah. So you kind of have to
it feels like a dig
out.
At moms unnecessarily. I'm like, geez. I'm not even a mom.
I think it's interesting. Hexed to me has obviously like witchcraft demon-y vibes. And we have like K-pop Demon Hunters is number one at the box office. I don't know. Like it's just kind of like I guess like magic has been very popular since forever. But like, Harry Potter, of course, was like world of magic, and Wicked last year, and it's just kind of interesting because I just remember when I was a kid, like everything magic was evil, like the like sort of
there's still a lot of that out there.
Right.
I just need to say something to all the families, and it's like, look at this movie title, look at this, and it's just like, man, you're thinking too much about it.
Right.
But yeah, no, you are right. There's a big uptick, I think, in that sort of interest in that type of stuff, for sure.
Right. Well, I just think it's kind of bold of Disney, because I think the word hex has like a real, like, to me anyway, has like more of a demonic sort of darker magic sort of idea, and so hex as like a title of a Disney movie feels like kind of a big swing for Disney to do, when I feel like it will have that kind of backlash, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Good flashbacks to WandaVision and the days of the hexes.
Oh yeah. Hexagons.
Better times.
All right. Warner Brothers has pushed back the release of Mortal Kombat 2 to May 15th, 2026, after it was previously slated for release in 2 months on October 24th.
Jay, I think this is actually kind of a show of confidence. They're taking the movie, and it was supposed to come out here relatively soon, but you're pushing it back to May, and that's typically kicking off the summer box office. And so I think if you're going to put it there, and you're going to say, like, we want to kick off the summer box office, that says that you feel pretty strongly about the movie that you have, and you feel like it could do what you want it to do. So I actually like the move. I mean, if I'm not really into that type of genre of movie. That's not really for me. But I think just from like a confidence standpoint, I think it shows that they feel good about the movie that they have on their hands.
Marvel moved off of May for like the first time ever and went to December, and I knew that someone would fill that gap. I did not expect Mortal Kombat. That's all. Just didn't expect that. Ice Age 6 is officially titled Ice Age Boiling Point and will debut in theaters February 5th, 2027.
Ice Age 6 is a wild statement. I just have to come out and say.
Are there spin-offs too? There's got to be spin-offs too.
People love those movies so much. And Ray Romano, I don't know if he's still in them, but he's probably like, yep, sign me up for number 7, 8, and 9 too.
Oh, why wouldn't you? I just Googled
Boiling
it.
Point is a very funny title, though.
Ice Age came out in 2002. This franchise is over 2 decades old.
My lord.
Living in the Ice Age of sequels.
I did see a lot of people. I did see a lot of people online talking about, like, is this canon to Alien Earth? Because of
oh my god,
Ice Age connection.
Do it, you cowards.
All right. HBO has announced casting news for several Hogwarts professors and students for the upcoming Harry Potter adaptation series, including Warwick Davis, who will play the role of Professor Flitwick, a role he played in the original films.
Jay, I think this is interesting casting, and I think it makes sense because he definitely fit the role really well. He's really memorable in that role. But what I think is really interesting about this and kind of funny is the timing of it, because earlier last week, the director of the original Harry Potter films, Chris Columbus, he was asked about them and was kind of like, hey, they're doing this HBO thing. What do you think about that? And he was basically like, well, honestly, all the pictures that I see from it look exactly the same as the movie that we made. And he brought up Hagrid, and he was like, the guy that plays Hagrid just looks like the Hagrid that we made. Like, it's the exact same coat, the exact same costume. And, you're limited to source material. There's only so much you can do. Like, I get it. But I just thought that was really funny that he came out with that statement, started this conversation about, he even said in the interview, like, what's the point of making this? Like, we already made it, and you're basically just copying me, basically, is what he said. And then literally the next day, they're like, we're also going to cast the guy that you cast for the same role.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. Weapons, which lost its number 1 position last weekend to Netflix's K-pop Demon Hunters, reclaimed its crown, earning an estimated $12.8 million over the 4-day holiday. So far, the horror hit has earned $135 million domestically and $235.2 million globally. In second place, the 50th anniversary of Steven Spielberg's classic Jaws collected $9.9 million after Universal re-released it in theaters.
Haley, what a great year for original horror films. Sinners and now Weapons. Just
Mhm.
really running away with it, which is super awesome. I know many on our network, our fellow co-hosts, are thrilled to see that. So I think it's very cool. Of course, I'm not going to see it because I'm a big scaredy cat. I might watch it at home.
Me too.
I might, with all the lights on and stuff. It doesn't sound actually like it's as scary as... Well, I take that back. If Ashley said the jump scares got her, then they'll get me for sure.
Can I be honest with you? I went and read the entire Wikipedia article on weapons because I really wanted to know the story. Like, I was so curious. I was like, I got to know. And I was
Jay,
like,
you're
I'm
my
never going to
people.
watch this. I was like, I'm never going to watch this. Like, I just know that I'm not going to watch this. Like, it's just, horror's just not my thing. I don't look down on it. It's just not my thing. I just don't like to be scared. But I was like so curious. I was like, I got to know. So I went and read the Wikipedia article about it, read the whole plot. I know what happens, confirmed. Don't want to see it, but still pretty cool, for people that are down with that, because it's killing it.
That's fun.
Netflix has set a 2-week theatrical window for its highly anticipated ensemble sequel, Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery. Wake Up Dead Man will release in selected theaters on November 26th for a 2-week run until it comes to Netflix December 12th.
Haley.
Matt.
Oh,
Okay,
go
for it.
ahead. No,
Sure, okay.
I know you like these movies better than I do.
I love these movies. I love them. They're some of my favorite movies the last few years. I really, really love them. And, I don't think I haven't seen any of them in theaters, and I would really like to. So I'm going to try to catch this theatrical window because I'm all into, it's just been, they've only been 2 of them, so it's not like a huge history, but man, they're just both great, just really great. And for completely different reasons, they both, every time I watch them, I am kind of re-surprised by certain elements because they have so much going on and they're sort of complicated. I laugh all the way through, and I also feel emotional, and I think, I think they're going to do great again. I have full trust in Ryan Johnson, and want to see these really do well.
Tiny butt. I don't have full trust in Ryan Johnson, but I think this one looks a lot better than Glass Onion, which I really didn't like at all.
Love Glass Onion.
I liked the first one. Okay. But
This is a trend. I'm going
love them
to
both.
also, tiny butt, to say that this is a trend for Netflix, and I think it's a cool trend for Netflix. Like, we know Greta's Narnia is going to get a limited run in theaters that she pushed really hard for. We know that Del Toro's Frankenstein is going to get a run in theaters. And, when we mentioned that last week, Scotty was like, I hope that they'll put Wake Up Dead Man in theaters because that's the next one on the list. So I hope that's a trend that continues. I like the limited run, like just a couple weeks. We just talked about K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, it's a good example of we've got a thing on Netflix, it's working, and we're going to try to make it into an event. And I think you've got a strong base of people that will see it in a weekend or 2, and then you can yank it out of theaters and put it on Netflix. And I think it's a good move.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder though if it's going to put this whole 2-week window thing is going to put even more pressure on other companies to make theirs faster to theaters faster to streaming because if people start seeing these, Netflix 2 weeks, it's on Netflix, you have the chance to see it in theaters, but it's there. Like, is that going to make less engaged people just think that's how movies are now and make it even less likely for them to go to theaters? You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, these days things go to Netflix so fast, I can totally see a less engaged audience thinking that.
is Netflix only doing this so they can be in contention for awards, though?
I don't know. It depends on how wide the release is.
Yeah, there's weird stipulations about that, so I'm not 100% sure.
Because for awards, you just have to be in a certain number of theaters for a certain number of days or something like that. But if they're wide releasing it, which I assume they will be, I really hope they will be, because I hope I get to see it here in Alabama.
I especially wonder about that for Del Toro's Frankenstein because it looks really good. Like, it looks beautiful, and so I just feel like they definitely want that one up for awards.
Yeah, for sure. Universal Pictures has removed Jordan Peele's untitled 4th film from its October 2026 release date, marking the second delay for the project that was originally scheduled for Christmas 2024. The Oscar-winning director is still working on the horror thriller, which has yet to begin filming and remains shrouded in secrecy beyond Peele's previous comment that it could be his favorite movie if he makes it right.
Haley, I don't think this is a bad thing. I think that Jordan Peele's movies have earned a certain level of cachet for the people that really like them at the box office. Like, he's making very intricate horror films that are they teeter on so many other genres too, while they're not just a horror movie, right? And so I think he's probably taking his time. This could be like, there's a certain actor he wants for a certain role and they need to wait to film them or something like, I mean, it could be any manner of things. If he just wants to make it right, he has the luxury, I think, to take as much time as he wants, and people will definitely go out and see his film whenever it comes out.
Yeah. And that is the power of a not connected universe, where we're always complaining about things like, God, there's not another Batman movie, or there's not another Superman movie, and like the hype train's losing steam, which is true. But when you've got a creative that you just love, give them as much time as they want to make their solo standalone movie. Like, why not? Like, let it be exactly what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I support it.
He's still in his feelings about Weapons. If you don't know that story, he tried to bid for Weapons whenever it was out for bid before Zach Cregger got it to be able to direct it, like when it was a screenplay, and he lost out on it, and he fired his entire management team because he wanted to direct that so badly. Yeah. So he wanted that film really bad. Like he wanted to make that movie. So
that shows his the caliber of him knowing like what will make a good film.
Yeah, totally.
Savvy.
Yeah. Paramount has signed a deal with gaming company Activision to develop a live-action Call of Duty film.
Jay, I mean, it's gonna. I don't know. What are we doing here? It's just a war film, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's just like,
what's the
there's
story?
No characters in Call of Duty, right? I mean,
yeah. I think some of the individual games have characters, but I don't think there's like.
Are we gonna Barbie this thing? Like, we're gonna like try to get heady with like the fourth wall and like
yes,
and reality and stuff, or are we just like guys with guns? I don't know. Probably guys with guns.
Yeah, I think it might be too much to ask to think that all the like 12 to 14-year-old gamers are going to come out of this movie like hating the military-industrial complex or something. I don't think that Greta Gerwig could pull that off. Give it to Greta Gerwig. Just do it.
Greta Gerwig, Call of Duty. Like, I'm in. I don't even need to know an ounce of information because I just need to see it.
Me too. I would go see a Greta Gerwig Call of Duty all day. Oh yeah.
She's like, we're gonna put Meryl Streep in it.
I guess it's my magnum opus.
Yes.
Do they still make Call of Duty games? I don't know.
Oh, Haley.
Yes.
Haley.
Yes.
I
Every
don't
year.
know things like. I know my dad played that back in the day on the computer when I was in like high school and middle
the
school.
Billies start raining when they put out a Call of Duty game.
Yep.
Like they are printing cash.
Aren't they on like a rotation of where they give it to different companies each year? Like every other year it's a different company, so they always can have one coming out like basically every year.
Yeah, there's a lot of them coming out, and then there's all the online stuff, and now they've, of course, in the world of gaming, which is stupid, they've microtransactioned everything. So they're like, oh, you want your gun to be a different color? Like pay us $1 or whatever. So they just make an insane amount of money from Call of Duty, and they always will. It's the cycle of life.
I need that in-game Greta Gerwig Barbie gun. I need it.
Oh my god.
I love this, by the way, as a subplot. Somebody mentioned it in the chat, and it popped up in my head as soon as I saw it, too. It's like, this seems like an episode of The Studio, like the idea that we're going to make a Call of Duty movie, and like figuring out how to make it, and like the direction, like the director wants to make it a criticism on something like about the country, and like the other director just wants to make a shooter, or something like how hilarious that could be.
Lord, that show is so good. I don't rewatch it. I've been seeing it pop up on Reels lately, and I've just been really wanting to watch it again.
Yeah, season 2 cannot come soon enough.
Yeah, man, so good. All right. Well, that's the show, guys. Thanks for joining us here on Multiverse News. Let's go around and tell the people where they can find us online. What you got going on, Jay Sisson?
Commute the podcast weekly on Mondays, and then Haley and I are going to tackle the paper on Always Watching. That comes out soon, right? This week?
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. Ooh. So that's just around the corner. So we were talking about it. We're not 100% sure yet, but we were talking about maybe doing like 2 episodes at a time or something. That way there's not, because the episodes are probably kind of short. So So we'll probably try to. So just keep an ear out for that if you're interested in the paper, and you're going to watch that show.
Yeah. And Haley?
Yep, we'll be doing that. Ash and I are still doing our Outlander rewatch on Always Watching. Brian and I had to take a break last week, but we came back with sort of a Peacemaker primer on Source Pages. We talked for like half an hour about other random stuff before we got to Peacemaker. So, we do random things over there. So busy.
Love it. And check out that Always Watching feed. We've got Peacemaker and Alien Earth that are running over there right now. I think me and Jay Scotty are both in those. And so we'll be over there. And back on Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, I think we're gonna try to drop a full frame by frame of the Marvel zombies soon. Maybe we'll record it right now. I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about it when we finish. See if we got this under time enough. But we'll have something up there soon about that Marvel Zombies trailer, and a little more in depth, and try to really get into the weeds of it.
Get into the brains of it.
Yeah, brains, frames.
Oh yes, we've done it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace.
You stay classy, Multiverse.
Hey, thanks for listening to Multiverse News, or watching it, or whatever you're doing, eyeballs or ear holes, whichever thing. We do this show every week, and we appreciate you listening. StrandedPanda.com is where you can find all of our podcasts, and thank you for listening. Check us out wherever you get podcasts. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the little bell icon, whatever you have on whatever service you're doing. Rate us, like us. We're really thirsty. That's what I'm saying.